Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 10 of the VRL 2022 Cup Series right here at Richmond Raceway. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here today, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Folks, I hope you all are ready for the short track action that we have here today, Richmond Raceway, known as the shortest super speedway among many names. As drivers make their way out on the track to get themselves ready for qualifying here, we're going to go ahead and begin our coverage of that here for you folks here today. So, after coming away from last week, at Martinsville, we saw some incredible action there going into this week here. After seeing Nick Nickerson take away the win at Martinsville. You're going to see here if, actually that seems to be a little outdated here. Nope, that is correct. That is indeed correct here. So Nick Nickerson coming away with the win from last week's race. Does not seem like he's going to be here today, so not exactly going to be out here competing for points here. But nonetheless, we still have plenty of drivers out here making their way around the track. Going to see what they can put down as their best time here. Let's take a quick moment to look at our point standings just to give the folks at home a little bit of an idea of where our drivers are currently in the championship standings. Currently, Howie Briss still sits at the top of the championship standings currently with 1,312 points. Just behind him, Sean Williams holding on to second place, Nick Nickerson into that third place spot. Tony Hilbrand's in fourth place, and Benny Hogan taking that fifth place spot. So let's just look at our top five here in the point standings before we get into the race here. And let's take a look at some of the times that drivers have set here for their qualifying times. Benny Hogan right at the tippy top of the timing tower here with a 22.42 as his best time here for the qualifying session. Drivers only are allocated 2 laps to complete for their qualifying. So you only get 2 good chances or 2 attempts at a good at a good run here. So a few drivers still have yet to, ooh, look at this. Aaron Smith in the 70 machine does not appear to be having a great qualifying run here, as that front end is completely demolished. Wow. Sliding his way into the pits. And I don't think we're actually going to see anyone else come out onto track. I'm not actually too certain of that at this point in time. Kayla Knight, Michael Ashmore, Patrick Colby, Bill Harkins, and Keith Lee all still have yet to make their way out onto the track. James Coolbally going to be making his way back onto the track here after taking his way down into the pits for a brief point in time here. And he's back out on track here, down the back straight into turn 3. So once he comes back around the checkered line, this will be his first time lap here for the session. So only 10 drivers having completed their qualifying here today. James Coolbally in the 12 machine going to be number 11 once he completes his first lap here. So we're going to see exactly where James Coolbally is going to place himself here on the starting grid. But gotta say, Benny Hogan up there at the very tippy top here. Quite interesting to see, and you can see a little bit of a wiggle and a shake there out of the 12 machine as he comes out of turn 4. Richmond Raceway, as I've been told before we went live here, speaking with some of the drivers, it is glass down there on track right now. So let's see, James Coolbally, his second time around, he's able to work his way up into that 9th place spot after putting himself into that 10th place position initially. But that is going to be the end of qualifying here for our drivers. About 30 seconds left in our qualifying session before we wrap things up here. We're going to have a brief warm-up session before we take to the field behind the pace car and get ourselves rolling around here for the first time here at Richmond Raceway for 200 laps that we are going to be completing here for today's race for round number 10. Now, from what I understand, the fuel window is about 115 to 125 laps. So, basically about practically halfway through the race is when we're going to expect to see drivers come down into the pits for the very first time. Now, the number of drivers as well that we have for today's race seemingly a little bit less than what we normally expect here for the VRL Cup Series. Usually the field is a little bit more stacked than what we have here tonight. I don't have an exact count here at the moment. Looks like 18 drivers that we have here stacked up in the field at the moment. So, still going to be an interesting race. Richmond Raceway, again, a 3/4 mile track. And, again, known for its speed. It is a very fast, very technical short track based out of Virginia. And from what I've seen in practice, you know, it's tough really trying to keep these cars stable going into the turns here. We're looking at Aaron Smith in the 70 machine, who we saw in qualifying just absolutely eat the front end of that 70 machine, and the pit crew able to get it repaired quickly here and back out onto the track here. And so, yeah, very interesting to see just how difficult this track can be. So, with that out of the way, folks, we have our starting grid here available to us for the start of the Richmond 200. Benny Hogan in the number 5 machine taking that first place spot, with Tony Hilbrands in the 92 taking that second place spot here, rounding out your first row. Jaden Hopp in the 81 taking third place. Sean Williams in the 89 taking that fourth place spot here today. Rounding out your second row, Nicholas Lavelle in the 10, starting in 5th place with Scott Shire. Taking 6th place here, rounding out your third row, Howie Briss in 7th. Charles Jurek in 8th place. James Koulibaly in 9th. Thomas Sewell in 10th. Matthew Fitz in 11th. Aaron Smith going to be in 12th place. Kayla Knight going to be in 13th. Nick Nickerson in 14th. Patrick Colby in 15th. Michael Ashmore in 16th, Bill Harkins in 17th, and rounding out the field here in 18th, Keith Lee in the 61. So we have a question in the chat. Excuse me. I had to take a moment to clear the air in my lungs there for a moment. I didn't want that to be on the hot mic, as they like to say. But we do have a question in the chat. Corey Mitchell, is Cody Welch running tonight? Is he running tonight? I do not believe that he is. It does not appear that he is here today for the start of today's race. So, unfortunate to see Welch not able to make it here tonight for one various reasons or another, but that is a-okay. We still got plenty of drivers here tonight to make a very interesting race here at Richmond Raceway. So don't go anywhere, stick around and stay tuned for the Richmond 200 for the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. We also have a little bit of information here. The 53 it's not going to be able to make it here tonight for today's race, as there is no internet available. So that is quite the misfortune. But the pace truck is making its way down into pit road. We are going to get to the first green flag, and I'm going to have to fix that here in a moment. But anyhow, we are off to the first green flag run here. Look at Nicholas Lavelle right in 5th place right now. Almost tried to find some room here between himself and Sean Williams. Benny Hogan doing a very fantastic job here, staying out in front of this field, trying to build himself a nice gap. We also have Scott Shire working his way up into 7th place, the 97, Howie Briss, our current points championship leader. Look at this. We even got drivers 3 wide here down the back. Going into turn 2, down the back straight. These drivers, well, 3 wide there going through the turn, and as they settle out, going down the back straight, going into turns 3 and 4. Down the front straight here once again. A lot of our field here looking rather calm and steady for the start of this race, I do have to say, given that the information that I was given before the start of the race, the track is a little interesting. It's a little slick out there. Tony Hillbrands, though, up into first place here. Take a look at this. Benny Hogan dropping down into second and right behind the bumper now of the 92. Tony Hillbrands leading the field here. Lap 4 of 200. Still a long race left to go here, so he's got to really settle himself in there as he gets a little bit loose. Coming out of 2, down the back straight, keeps it straight, and ultimately going to try and keep this battle going, or, well, avoid this battle, actually, is what Tony Hillbrands is going to be trying to do here. He wants to increase that gap. He needs to increase that gap between himself and Benny Hogan. You know, having that competition just kind of lingering there, lap after lap, turn after turn, it can be, well, challenging, to say the least. So, look at this field, though. Pretty much single file as they work their way down the front straight, going into turns 1 and 2 here once again. Lap 6 of 200, folks. It's going to be quite a long race. And I do have to say that these drivers are all doing a fantastic job here on the opening laps, which, in my opinion, are some of the most difficult to keep green, so to speak. But Kayla Knight in the 18 machine, going to be up into 12th place here, doing a fantastic job. She worked her way. Okay. Kayla Knight here. Been doing some impressive work here in the 18 machine. She's right behind Aaron Smith, who's working in 10th place right now. The 6'9" of Matthew Fitz going to be squeezed right between the middle of these two right now as they go into turn 1. Kayla Knight now going to be side by side almost here with Matthew Fitz going down the front straight. Let's check in with our leader here, Tony Hillbrands. Well, checking in with second place here. Look at the distance that has been set between our leader, Tony Hillbrands, and second place driver, and now third, Jaden Hopp as well. There's nearly about a second that separates these two drivers, well, our leader from the rest of the field now at this point, from Benny Hogan's spot. So, I broke the broadcaster is right. Got to thank James East for coming up here, giving me a little bit of a chuckle here for the start of today's race here. But some great action that we have here. Honestly, this is some really great racing that we have here at Richmond. Lap 10 of 200. I mean, really, I almost was half expecting to see someone just bite the wall somewhere within the first couple laps. But, I mean, all of these drivers here, phenomenal through and through. Every single one of them definitely knows what they're doing behind the wheel. And I don't think that any of them really are going to put themselves in that situation this early on in the race. And I don't think any of them are doing it on purpose, obviously. But I think these drivers are fully aware of what they can and can't do. And I think this is just exemplifying that here. But I don't want to jinx them. I want to let them keep racing, keep having fun, and keep doing what they're doing here as we continue to race on here. We're going to ride on top of the number 10 machine of Nicholas Lavelle as we race into turn 3 and come out on turn 4 down the front straight here, following behind Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine. These three drivers here, Benny Hogan, Jaden Hopp, Nicholas Lavelle, all three of them kind of all in this little package, little three-piece right here. Not really doing a whole lot as far as battling, but they're just trying to stay with each other. They're just trying to stay in that draft, stay as close to each other as they can. It's a long race, folks. We're only on lap 14 as we cross the line. And, you know, you kind of got to be thinking to yourself, okay, what can I reasonably do right now? And then how long can I hold on to that? Because, again, it's just you have to be able to stay consistent on these lap times. You have to be able to stay as close to the driver in front of you or stay as far away from the driver behind you. You don't want the field catching up on you and risking putting yourself down a position, or even just having kind of these close battles that really could be worse for wear, depending on where you're standing in the championship. So, Tony Hilbrand, let's take a quick moment here to take a look at that real quickly while we're actually on the subject. All right, so our software has decided it wants to take a little bit of a nap here. So we're going to go ahead and get that fixed up here for you folks, as we're going to call the action here from a little bit of a forced perspective from the Nicholas Lavelle grinding up on the wall there, coming down the front straight. Having a little bit of a moment there, not exactly too certain of what's going on there for Nicholas, but he's going to try and keep it together here and do all that he can for the remainder of this race, while we up here in the booth are doing all that we can to make sure that you folks at home have the correct information up available to you on your screens, and not this outdated stuff that we have here at the moment. So as we bring that back to life for everyone here, lap 18 of 200 that we are on currently. Look at this battle back here. Oh man, I really wish our software didn't do that at the most absolute inconvenient times. It's just ridiculous sometimes how that plays out here. But anyway, anyhow, look at this battle. Nick Nickerson, Kayla Knight, James Coulibaly. Look at Charles Jurek right here. Going to be side by side here. James Coulibaly riding the wall. They it's contact into turn 1. They keep it together. We're still green. Excuse me, that was turn 3. That almost looked like it was going to be a lot worse as they continue going into turn 1. My, oh my, folks, I'm sorry. I got a little excited there. That was some pretty intense battles. Still pretty intense battles happening on our screens right now. And I got to say, these drivers, lap 21 of 200, and really all the battles are happening right here in the middle field, in the midsection. It's just great to see. No matter where any of these drivers are, they're all fighting. They're all trying to do the best that they possibly can. Charles Jurek trying to send it up on the outside line here, just outside, on top of Nick Nickerson. He bumps the rear end of James Coulibaly. They go spinning down the front straight. Into the grass goes the number 2 of Nick Nickerson. James Coulibaly as well has to get that machine re-centered and straight back on the racetrack as the caution comes out here for the very, very first time here at Richmond Raceway. Gosh. My, oh my, folks, that is just an awful, awful way to bring out the caution here. Let's take a really quick look at that replay. So here we go, out of turn 4, and just a little bump to the rear end of James Coulibaly from Charles Jurek. Just a little love tap. That sends the 12 spinning down the front straight and across the checkered line. That is, man, rough. So we're going to take a very quick commercial break here just for one moment, folks, while we fix a technical difficulty up here in the booth. And when we return, we will bring you more coverage of the Richmond 200. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. And we will be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Apologies for that, but I wanted to get that taken care of before we went any further because I am, well, frankly, just a little bit picky about those things. So anyway, anyhow, We are back behind the pace truck, and the lineup here has changed as drivers have taken the time, taken this opportunity to come down into the pits here on lap 23. So, a little bit interesting strategy here that we're seeing from the field being played out, and the only driver, two drivers, actually, have decided not to come down into the pits, which is actually fine because, again, fuel windows were 115 to 125 laps. Now, that does not account for tires, so we might be a little bit off on that math there. But either way, we still have Matthew Fitz, Bill Harkins, both going to be on the same set of tires that they started with. I want to say that they might even be able to stay out another, at least another 25 more laps, if my math is even remotely correct. But either way, the whole field here, assuming that they all got tires, which I think the majority of them did, it looks like only two of them, Kayla Knight and possibly Thomas Sewell, came down into the pits to take only fuel based on their time for their pit stop. So I'm not exactly certain on that, but that appears to be the case as the pace truck comes down into the pits once again, and we are green flag racing once again here at Richmond Raceway. Lap 27 of 200, and as we come out of turn, oh, who's that riding the back wall there? I think that's Bill Harkins. The number 11 of Bill Harkins had a little bit of a moment riding the wall. Very, very hard, very aggressive. Oh, look at this three-way battle for the lead. Matthew Fitz, Kayla Knight, Jaden Hopp falls back a little bit. Oh, there's a little bit of trouble out in front. Going into turn one, Matthew Fitz takes a little bit slower going up onto the middle line. Tony Hilbrand's finding his pace now, riding up to the bumper of Kayla Knight in that 18 machine. Gonna try and find some room here. Goes into turn one, comes out of turn two. We're down the back straight. It almost looks like we're going to go three wide here into turn three. Tony Hilbrand's looking to try and take a line down on the inside. Benny Hogan there holding on to fourth place here as Matthew Fitz battles him out on the outside, and we're wrecking. Coming into turn one, we're wrecking. Not as many drivers as I was expecting in that one. It looked like it was going to be a lot worse. Let's take a look at what happened here in the replay. Kayla Knight, way, way, way unstable there. Let's back this up here. Too far. I was clicking other buttons. Okay, so, yeah, right there she starts to get very unsettled. I'm not exactly what from. Maybe it was from the VTEC. Only kidding. But that's just very interesting to see, and I saw a little bit of you folks at home didn't, but I saw a little bit of the same thing kind of happening during practice. Drivers just getting a little bit unsettled kind of in the straights, and it might even be kind of right as they come into the turns, right at the braking zones. Drivers might be a little heavy on those brakes, trying to avoid washing up into the wall and having that machine end up worse than you really want it to be. You can suffer a couple scrapes and bangs every now and then, but when you're really pushing and really driving into a turn and you don't try any effort to slow the car, when I said at the beginning of the broadcast this was known as the world's shortest super speedway, I meant that kind of literally. There's still a little bit of braking that you have to do here, right? It's still a 3/4 mile oval. You're not exactly going to be able to just take the turns at speed. You still got to slow it down just a little bit. Could be a little interesting sometimes, just given the track surface. It's slick. It's just slick. It's outright not the most grippiest surface that you could possibly have as a race car driver. So that's why, you know, we're seeing a lot of these drivers kind of getting a little bit loose, whether it's going into the turns or coming out. Just really trying to keep these cars stable and keep them straight is really the challenge here. And I think that's what's going to really set the leader, the winner, apart here tonight for the race here, is being able to keep your car as stable and steady as you need it to be here at a racetrack like Richmond. So I'm excited though, folks. You know, it's the second caution of the race, but that's nothing to sweat. It's lap 33 of 200, and these drivers have all been just beating and grinding on each other, trying to do all that they can. And we had a really great restart on the last caution where we saw a new starter. Obviously didn't last very long, as Matthew Fitz is down back into 16th now, being on the older set of tires. But if I do, yeah, he did come into the pit, so he decided to go against that decision and come down into pits and get those fresh set of tires, which it was about due time anyway. But we are about to go back to green flag racing here. The pace truck is in, and the green flag flies. Let's take a look at the restart here for Tony Hilbrands in the 92 machine. We are going into turn one. Let's see what happens here. A little bit wider view here to see exactly what unfolds here down the back straight, trying to keep an eye on exactly what's going to unfold here. Benny Hogan down on the inside going into turn three. Out of four, he's on the door of Tony Hilbrands. Quite literally, Nicholas Lavelle looks like he had a little bit of a moment there as well. Keeps it together down on the inside of Aaron Smith. The number 10, Nicholas Lavelle, trying to hold on to third or fourth place as he battles there with Aaron Smith. But really, the most important battle right now is that of the lead, as Benny Hogan just barely inching himself out of turn four down the front straight here. And across the checkered line, just able to keep himself out in front of the 92 of Tony Hilbrands. Tony, he had quite the impressive gap before we took that caution. And right now, I think Tony is not going to be too happy about having to deal with this battle that he's working with right now. I'm sure he's probably enjoying it and having a good time. But, you know, having that lead kind of being taken away from you could probably be a little frustrating. But we still got battles happening down on the track. Nicholas Lavelle in the 10 machine. Down on the inside here of Aaron Smith. Almost down on the inside there. He's still just lagging behind just a little bit here. Lap 38 of 200. A lot of our field here looking quite steady. Let's take a look back here. Just give me even more impressive battles that we have. Nick Nickerson, Sean Williams duking it out here for 8th place at this point in time. Sean Williams down on the inside of that number 2 as we come out of 2 down the back straight. Sean Williams trying to find a little bit of speed here on the bottom line. He's got Scott Shire just behind him in the 4 machine, trying to take advantage of that draft if he can. He might have to be a little bit closer for, yeah, there he goes. Kayla Knight, there you see in the 18 machine. Going to be pulling in right behind Scott Shire now. A lot of these drivers here trying to find their place here on the racetrack and see what they can do. Let's take a look at an interesting view here, though. We brought out our drone camera operator for this week's event, and I gotta say, some of the views that we have here of the drivers down on track here from this drone can be a little interesting sometimes. Pretty entertaining, I do have to say myself, as we come into turn 1 and out of turn 2. Down the back straight here, we're looking with Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine right now. You can see just behind him Howie Briss in the 97. These drivers all going to be single file here right now and all doing just a fantastic, phenomenal job here in this race. Lap 43 of 200. Again, most of these guys are going pretty single file up here in the front of the field. You know, a lot of the action has been unfolding towards the midfield, and I mean, it's a little surprising to me. Not too much, but Right now, you can kind of see Aaron Smith starting to catch up with Tony Hilbrands. Tony was able to get himself back up into the lead here as Benny Hogan up down into third here as Nicholas Lavelle trying to track him down and see if he can give a little bit of pressure to that number 5 machine here. I gotta say, it's quite a beautiful day here at Richmond Raceway. The sun is starting to set and just kind of getting that nice setting here at the track as the sun begins to set here. And I do believe before too long, I think we will see the lights come on here at Richmond. I could be wrong about that, but we'll see. We'll have to stick around and find out. But as that unfolds here, look at, oh man, these drivers all try. And like I said, folks, it's a lot of these battles are happening right here in this midfield. We're looking at Charles Jurek, Scott Shire, duking it out for 9th place right now. They're side by side, taking it into turn 1. They're going to come out of turn 2 down the back straight. It's Scott Shire out in front of the 76 machine. Howie Briss, the 97 up on top right now of Kayla Knight. Kayla up 5 spots right now since the start of this race here into 8th place. Trying to find a little bit of room here, but she's got Nick Nickerson in the 2 machine just out in front of her. Really just holding her up. Seems like the 18 does have the pace and the speed to be able to work her way back up into at least the top 5, it seems like. But having these 2 drivers in front of her at this point in time, probably a little bit frustrating for the driver of the 18 machine, but doing a phenomenal job nonetheless, despite all of the troubles that it seems like she's currently suffering at the moment. We're going to actually ride on board here with the 18 machine. Just to give a... Actually, you know what? Let's take it inside the 18 machine here. We'll ride on the inside with the gyro cam, and you can see the action up in front between Nick Nickerson and Howie Briss for that 6th place spot here. So really, Caitlin is moving up through the field rather quickly, and Nickerson as well. Caitlin up five spots from the start of this race. Nickerson up 7. So both of these drivers here both moving and grooving. Aaron Smith, though, going to be at the top of that list here, up 10 spots from the start of this race. So got a few drivers that are really pushing and trying to do all that they can here in the early stages of this race. Lap 52 on 200. And being that, let's see here. So most of our drivers here came in lap 23 for that first caution that came out. So the next time, well, hang on a second. So the second caution, we had a couple drivers come in for lap 31 for that second caution. It looks like 4 drivers in total that we had for that second caution. But either way, either how, we should expect to see drivers coming down into the pits here before too long, probably within the next, I have to say, 15-20 laps would be my guess. I could be a little bit off on that. My apologies if I am. But right now, Nicholas Lavelle that we're looking at, seemingly fighting that 10 machine, almost seemed like he was going to get unsettled there. Able to keep it together. Benny Hogan scraping the wall down the back straight, going into turn 3. Not a turn 4 here in that middle line, you know. And that's another thing about Richmond, too, is you kind of have a little bit of options to work with as far as race line. You know, you're able to kind of take that middle to low line groove. I haven't seen anyone take that real... Oh, wow. That's exactly what I'm talking about, folks. Coming out of these turns, specifically turn 2 right there, you can see how unsteady the car wants to get. That rear end just wants to spin and get away from you because there's just no grip on this track. It's glass. It's basically just ice. You walk out, you try and walk out there, you're probably just going to slip and fall and think, why is there ice on the track? Who put ice here? Who would do such a thing? I'm just kidding. But anyway, it just makes a very interesting surface for these drivers to have to deal with and, you know, you're just fighting this car just tooth and nail. So let's actually exemplify that for you folks at home so you can get an idea of exactly what that means. Let's ride on board here with Howie Briss. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the steering of Howie Briss here. We're going to take a lap around here with the 97 and just pay attention to the steering that these drivers, all of these drivers, are having to do practically the same exact thing. You know, everyone is just, you can't see what I'm doing with my hands right now, but just they're fighting that wheel. And it's, man, it is absolutely impressive to see what it takes to be fast here at Richmond. And Howie Briss is really doing a fantastic job here. He probably had a feeling that he was going to get some TV time here, so he thought to himself, you know what, I gotta make myself look good here. And Howie Briss, our championship leader, doing an absolutely incredible job here. Holding on to 8th place right now, so not exactly probably in the spot that he wants to be in here at this point in the race, but it's still early. We're not even halfway through the race. We're just over that quarter-way mark, so he's still got time, and there's still plenty of racing left to do here. So I wouldn't exactly put Howie Briss out of the picture here for at least the top 5, maybe even the top 3 here. A podium would definitely put Howie Briss in an even more secure spot up there for the championship standings. So we'll have to see how that plays out here and continue on looking through the field and just trying to see who is doing what and moving and shaking and where this field is going. Lap 61 of 200, and Aaron Smith has not left the rear end of Tony Hilbrand's. You know, if I was Tony right now, I would be thinking to myself, what can I do to get rid of this guy? Like, what do I have to do to get this guy off my tail and just be faster? You know, it sounds simple, you know, just be faster. Just don't be slow. Like, oh, that's great. That's great advice. But if you're Tony Hilbrand's, if you're the leader in a race, you know, you have someone charging at you from the rear end and they're just on your tail, they won't go away. It can kind of start to be a little wearing on the mind, but a lot of these drivers, they're seasoned. They've been through this time and time again, and they might look at the rear view and just wave, you know, just be like, hey buddy, how you doing back there? You know, but other drivers, it might just be like, gosh, man, I really want to get this guy off my tail. I really want him to go away because it's really messing with my groove here. But Tony doesn't really seem to be fazed by it too much here, just trying to keep a steady race, keep a clean, green race here at Richmond. Which right now, he seems to be doing just that. And frankly, for someone that's in the lead, that's probably all that you could ask for, you know. And at this point, the last thing that Tony would want to see is a caution. That is probably the absolute last thing that he wants to have happen here at this point in the race. So getting this field stacked back up and really allowing kind of a yellow flag caution, a yellow flag pit stop to happen. Man, it throws a wrench in the gears for a lot of these drivers here. I mean, and a lot of them too, they might even top off on that fuel to be able to take it all the way until the very bitter end of the race, so that way they don't have to worry about coming down into the pits later on. Obviously, we still have tires to worry about. There it is. I jinxed it, folks. So, looks like Bill Harkins, Keith Lee, oh boy, both going to be involved in an incident here. Let's take a look at exactly what happened here between the 61 and the 11 machine. Coming out of turn 2, down the back straight, the 61 coming down the track. I don't know, that looked a little... So here we can see Keith Lee. That's a little interesting, folks. So it seems like they both were kind of just converging into one another. I mean, I would say that they probably didn't see each other there, but if I'm not mistaken, there are rear view mirrors on these things. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely. There is. It's okay, I complained about that last time. But anyhow, drivers are coming down in the pits. Everyone, the whole field, actually, has all come down into the pits here, and the first one to come out is going to be Aaron Smith. Actually, no, that is incorrect. Who is that all the way out there? Is that Michael Ashmore? That is not Michael Ashmore. Well, he is technically out on the track right now, but sitting in 16th at this point in time, and down actually about a lap and a half, it looks like, maybe more. So Michael Ashmore is just trying to stay out and get himself back up at least as close to the lead lap as he possibly can here. James Coulibaly is the driver that I was looking for, though, that was quickly making his way out of the pits here up into first place. Wow. So here's an interesting note here to note. James Coulibaly is still on that same set of tires that he had from the first caution, which was lap 23. We're on lap 70 right now. I can't imagine that those tires are going to be feeling pretty fresh. I mean, that's 43 laps. Oh, gosh. We're going to see. We're going to see exactly what James has up his sleeve. Up his sleeve here for this restart, if he's got anything. I can't imagine that he's going to be pulling away from Tony Hilbrand's or Aaron Smith or Jaden Hopp or Nicholas Lavelle for that matter. Basically, everyone from P2 down to, let's take a look here, 17th. Actually, scratch that. Make that 15th. We'll just call it 15th. Everyone from 2nd to 15th is going to be on significantly fresher tires. 44 lap fresher tires. Now, granted, we did have a couple of those under caution, so realistically, he probably could have saved the life on those just a little bit here and there, but either way, he's gonna have to come back in. Right there, right as I said it. He probably heard me rambling about it if he's listening into the broadcast, which thank you if you are. I'm not sure how drivers can listen to people like myself ramble on about their racing and still continue on. I know it would be quite distracting for myself, but I do appreciate it when the drivers tune in and enjoy the action while they're in it themselves. But I do believe our pace truck is going to make its way down into the pits this time around. Indeed it is. The lights are off. So, third caution, lap 72. It'll be 73 once we cross the line. And we'll be back to green flag racing here once again for the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. Here for the Richmond 200. The pace truck down into the pits. Tony Hilbrand sees the green flag. Aaron Smith trying to reciprocate that. And Aaron Smith, you know, I'm a little surprised by this one, folks. Aaron down on the bottom line, seeming like he could have had the advantage there, but Richmond also one of those tracks where you have to get up real high on the track to get that nice entry into the turn. Otherwise, you have to slow down a lot more than you really need to. Now, actually, while we're on that subject here, and oh man, I really want to talk about this a little bit more. Kayla Knight, hold on to it. Come on, you got it. Man, that was looking a little sketchy there for the 18 machine. Kayla Knight, looking a little unstable as she was coming out of turn 2. Able to keep it together here, back on the bumper of Nick Nickerson. Going into turn 1 here, she's going to have Benny Hogan down on the inside here as we come down the back straight here. Benny Hogan trying to work his way back up here into the mix of the front. Benny Hogan had a really impressive start to this race. Look at Caitlin trying to get right on the tail of Benny Hogan here, getting as much of that draft as she possibly can. Scott Shire now in the number 4 machine sees that as well. look at how well these drivers are all staying in line with each other. I mean, it's just absolutely thrilling to watch these drivers all just track around. It's great. It's absolutely great to see. And it's another interesting note. Tony Hilbrand's Aaron Smith. Excuse me. Both are starting to slowly slip away from this field. Not by a whole lot. I mean, obviously they still have a few more laps to go before they're able to get to that. I didn't even see what the gap was before we took to that third caution here, but these two have been just trailing each other lap after lap, and really I don't think we're going to see these guys separate from each other anytime here soon. As we cross the line, it's lap 79 of 200, so we're just almost to the halfway point here in today's race, and folks, I'm still just absolutely enjoying this race here. This is just fantastic. All of these drivers have put on an incredible race here at Richmond, and just given, again, we've talked about the track surface plenty of times already, but it's impressive. You know, I myself personally, when I hear Richmond is on the schedule, I'm just like, oh great, it's gonna be Caution City, and we're gonna be there a while. But sometimes the broadcasting gods grace me with a beautiful race such as this one here today for the Richmond 200, and I'm ecstatic, folks. So I hope everyone at home is enjoying the action that they're seeing right now on their screens here with Velocity Racing League. As we're crossing the line, it's lap 82 of 200 here. It's been some phenomenal action here thus far. We are going to take a moment, just take a commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue our coverage here of the Richmond 200 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere, because we will be right back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
And welcome back, folks. I gotta say, just watching these drivers right now, it's looking like, at this point in time, man, I'm trying to figure out if we're going to have a green flag pit stop. At least one. I want one. Let's get at least one green flag pit stop in here. And I think that would really kind of set the tone for this race here tonight. Having a little bit kind of uncertainty towards the beginning. Drivers finding themselves on a little bit of tough spots here and there through the cautions, and having the front of the field kind of switch up here a little bit a couple times. Now that things have kind of settled back out here, really I would like to see these drivers have a full green flag run here. I mean, not that they haven't already, but just have a really good green flag run that allows them to come down into the pits under green flag and just really see how these strategies that these drivers have put together play out. You know, we really haven't had a chance to see that here in this race yet, you know, because everyone's come down into the pits under that caution. So utilizing that utilizing that yellow flag, you know, to come down into the pits is obviously it's a strategy that every driver is going to want to take. You know, it's there, take it. You're just putting yourself in a predicament if you don't, depending on what your situation is. You know, if you're out on extremely old tires and you've been the car going into turn 3 or whatever the case is, you know, that's probably could have used some fresh tires. But so far, I don't think we've seen anyone do what I've just described yet in this race, and hopefully we don't see that. But right now, what we are seeing is just a lot of single file racing here for the most part. The front of the field, I mean, most of the battles here, they're within about a quarter of a second for the most part, but everyone here just staying right behind one another, just trying to stay out on track as long as they can and not try to burn up their tires. You know, that's really the big key thing here is saving the life of those tires. You know, you want to have as much grip available to you throughout this race, and if you're going turn after turn, just absolutely, you know, drifting it into each turn, not necessarily drifting it, but, you know, just really pushing it and eating up those left side tires, it can definitely have an effect on your pace throughout the rest of the race. But right now, as we're looking at through majority, ooh, look, actually got a battle up here. That's the one I was looking for. Scott Shire, Benny Hogan here for 7th place. These two drivers going to be side by side here, which right now seems to be kind of a rarity at this midway point in the race. You know, again, a lot of the field here pretty well spread out in single file for the most part. So the fact that these two found each other and going to be side by side now, a little bit surprising. And what's even more ironic is that they're the number 5 and the number 4 driver. I love that. That's beautiful. Absolutely love it. What would only make it better is if they were battling for P4. That would just tickle me pink. Anyway, enough joking aside. Charles Jurek now actually seems to be closing in on these two drivers. I'm not sure if he's found a little bit of draft here, or if he's just found a little bit of pace and is starting to put it to use here. But that 76 machine just kind of lingering back there in that 9th place spot. And take a look at this, folks. Aaron Smith able to take the lead here from Tony Hilbrand's lap 98 of 200 as we cross the line, and we have a new leader, the 70 machine. After, if you recall at the beginning of the broadcast, Aaron Smith, during, I believe it was his qualifying run, the front end of that machine was absolutely crippled. It did not look like anything like it does right now. I'm surprised that the pit crew was able to put it back together in time for the feature. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But Aaron Smith, though, he's come away from that qualifying and he's back up. He's up here in the front of the pack. Keep in mind, Aaron Smith here started in 12th place at the beginning of this. So up 11 spots, and he's up here leading this field, and right now giving Tony Hilbrand's a little bit of a run for his money as we come down the back straight into turn 3. Tony Hilbrand's trying to find an answer here to respond back to that number 70 machine. And Jaden Hopp now as well starting to look on the back end of that 92 machine, trying to see if he can find some room here. That was an ill-timed action shot if I've ever seen one. But Jaden Hopp here has found a little bit of speed here in this halfway point in the race. He's up here mingling with in the top 3 now. And before, we were only seeing Aaron Smith and Tony Hilbrand's kind of duking it out there, and now that's starting to change. So gotta love to see the action unfolding here as we push on. Benny Hogan right behind Scott Shire now. Still, I can't get over that. I just love that. The 5 and the 4 machine both duking it out here. What I would like to see here for these 3 drivers, right now between Scott Shire, who's holding on to that 7th place spot just out in front of Benny Hogan, between himself and 6th place Nicholas Lavelle, it's about a 1.5 seconds that separates these 2 drivers. So, if they work together, if they really want to push on one another and get into a nice draft, they probably would be able to catch Nicholas Lavelle and be able to work their way possibly towards the top 5. Scott Shire there with a little bit of a wall scrape as he comes out of turn 2. Keeping it together, Charles Jurek taking advantage of that mishap. Oh, I thought we were going to go 3 wide there for a second. It looked like Scott was going to make the move, but I think he realized that Charles Jurek was there and decided against that decision. But Charles Jurek now is going to be able to work his way down on the inside of that number 4 of Scott Shire. And now he's going to be down on the inside of Benny Hogan here, working his way up into that 7th place spot if he can here. Inching his way just out in front of the 5 machine going into turn 1. Benny Hogan trying to do all he can, staying on the side of the 76 machine. It's not quite going to work this time around. He's still there, though. He could possibly defend this position, but I don't think it's going to work. Scott Shire right behind the 76 machine, giving him a little bit of a bump draft here. They're still side by side here with one. I'm just amazed by this. Let's actually ride on board here with the nose camera of Scott Shire. And there we can see just out in front the Vault Tech 76 machine as well as the Valvoline number 5. Both still side by side here with one another. I just absolutely love this. That is definitely not the angle that I was looking for there. I do apologize for that one, folks. But Benny Hogan here, Charles Jurek, I mean, these drivers here are probably going to be duking it out side by side for a while unless someone makes a critical error or finds a spot on the track that allows it. Yeah, right there, Charles Jurek definitely seems to be trying to find the earliest spot that he can get on the gas to push out of these turns. And speaking of which, let's actually take a moment to ride on board with a driver and get an idea of what it's like here at Richmond Raceway. So let's take a moment to listen in with the number 89 machine of Sean Williams for a lap around Richmond Raceway. Right now, just up in front of Sean Williams, Howie Briss, Scott Shire, both duking it out there. You can see Scott Shire getting, oh man, that is, oof. See, and as a race car driver, you don't, that's the last thing you want to feel in your wheel is that rear end start to get away from you and start to wiggle and bob around. Man, because once it starts, it is so hard to recover it and keep it straight. you know, if you've been a part of the iRacing service, or really just have been a part of any sim racing community and have been sim racing for a little while, or maybe you just started, and you will know just how difficult it can be to save a car that's going into a spin, or you know, that's just sliding out on you. It can just be absolutely the trickiest thing that you'll probably do in your driving career, is keeping a car straight that doesn't want to go straight anymore. Because I know personally, I have definitely saved myself from a few wrecks that I probably shouldn't have been able to. Yeah, it's wild. But anyway, anyhow, we haven't seen any major incidents here tonight, which is another interesting thing here. As the lights fall, the lights turn on here at Richmond Raceway as the sun sets completely, and we are under the lights here, and just over the halfway point here at Richmond Raceway for the Richmond 200. Round number 10 of the 2022 VRL Cup Series, and the whole season has just been phenomenal here thus far. But while we have a little bit of a break in the action, let's take a moment to take a look at our current championship standings. Howie Briss, as we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, still our championship leader with 1,312 points. At the current point in time, Sean Williams, 127 points behind the leader, sitting in second place. Nick Nickerson in third. Tony Hillebrands in fourth. Benny Hogan in fifth. Nicholas Lavelle in sixth. Jaden Hopp in seventh. Scott Shire in eighth. James Koulibaly in ninth. And James Miller in that 10th place spot here. So right now for Aaron Smith, who, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron Smith isn't exactly the most active driver here for the series. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I could be having my drivers mixed up here. But Aaron Smith still making an appearance here for today's race. Not exactly competing for points at this time, but definitely has some impressive pace in that number 70 machine. But the next person that is in the point standings, who's sitting in second place right now, is Jaden Hopp. Jaden sitting 7th right now in the championship. Going to be on that second place spot right now, so might be able to come away with a podium and bump himself up just a little bit, and possibly even work his way up a position for that championship. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, though. Tony Hillebrands in third place right now, also going to be coming away with a podium if he can come across the checkered line when we end the race here. He's sitting in fourth place right now, so we definitely have a very interesting battle here for the championship. I mean, it's been tense. It's been really, really tense. You know, it's been up and down. We haven't, I believe it was mentioned off air before we went live. We've had a new, who is going really unstable back here? I think that was Tony Hillebrands possibly. Not exactly certain which driver it was, but someone got unstable here. But as I was mentioning, for this year, for this season, every single race thus far has seen a brand new driver win the race. It has not been the same driver for any of the races here for the VRL Cup Series 2022. And I think that's just phenomenal. And if I recall correctly, the first... I think it was the first 4 or 5 races were all brand new drivers to the series as well. So absolutely thrilling to see, and it's reflected in the championship, I believe, as well. Just having these battles throughout the season. I mean, it really keeps the competition exciting. Really, is the best way to describe it. So, as we're on lap 126 of 200 right now, Jaden Hopp is our race leader. I have no idea how that happened. Let's take a second here to see what happened here for this pass. Oh, Aaron Smith, he gets washed up out out of the back straight into turn 3. Riding the wall. Okay, I understand now. So Jaden here going to be in the lead with just about a second gap now. That's a little interesting to see. But what's also interesting is we are on lap 128, and the last time these drivers came down into the pits was lap 68, at least for the majority of the field. So what that means here is that I think we are going to see a green flag pit stop here before too long. And that's probably going to happen here sooner than we think. Right now, if my math's correct, it'll be about 50 laps that we've completed. Actually, this next lap around, it should be 50 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So, with that in mind, how is this going to affect our leaders here? Right now, Jaden Hopp has a pretty decent gap between himself and Aaron Smith, but it's obviously not going to be enough to retain that lead. But, man, it's been absolutely wild seeing how this lead has changed, and it's not like we've seen a billion cautions come out. It's been very clean racing for the most part, and it's absolutely thrilling. So what I'm really wondering, what I really want to see here is who is going to, well, actually it looks like Nicholas Lavelle and Patrick Colby here, while I was babbling away, actually did take the opportunity to come down into the pits and start their pit cycles here today. So Nicholas Lavelle, Patrick Colby going to be coming out here at lap 132. And they're going to be on the freshest set of tires compared to the rest of the field. But what's also interesting is oh, look at this. Aaron Smith coming down into the pits now as well. Second place driver coming down into the pit, so let's see how the rest of the field is going to reciprocate. Looks like Jaden Hopp here might possibly. Let's see what he does here. Coming into 3, let's see if he does it. No, he doesn't. He's going to stay out longer. Okay, all right, so this is interesting here, folks. So Jaden Hopp is going to try and stay out just a little bit longer on these tires. He might be taking the over on this one in trying to just stay out as long as possible and hoping that works out in his favor, while a lot of these drivers here that we're seeing come into the pits right now, I think, are hoping to be able to maybe take advantage coming in a little bit early and be able to take a position or two as they pass drivers coming down into the pits a little bit later, or through just passing them up straight up. But I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out here, but right now the battle for second place, Nick Nickerson, Kayla Knight, Tony Hillbrands. A three-way battle for the second place spot right now. Tony Hillbrands was all over the rear end of that number 18 machine, trying to stay on the rear end of Kayla Knight there, but not quite staying on the rear end there. Looks like he might have backed off, giving a little bit of room there. But as we come down into turn 2, or excuse me, turn 3 and out of 4, Kayla Knight here trying to give it her all to push herself up into second, and there she does it. Nick Nickerson trying to find some room here as he's battling side by side now with Tony Hillbrands down the back straight. Caitlin going to be feeling pretty good now that she's got clean air in front of her. But still got the two drivers of Tony Hillbrands, Nick Nickerson to deal with, who are now battling door to door going into turn 1. Plenty of room between the drivers. I don't think any of them are going to be worried about getting into one another here, as they've been very respectful to each other this entire race. You know, we've seen a couple beating and banging moments. We did see, I forget who it was already. I apologize for that, but we did see someone make a little bit of contact and send someone spinning around. But that ultimately I don't think was an intentional incident. I don't think any of these drivers here would enjoy having a intentional caution come out for a race here. But Kayla Knight now's going to take the lead. Jaden Hopp, Howie Briss, Benny Hogan all down here into the pits. Tony Hilbrand's now going to be side by side with the 18 machine of Kayla Knight. Hilbrand's looking a little unstable as he comes out of 4. Into turn 1. Hilbrand's going to try and find a little bit of speed. He's looking a little unstable down the back straight, keeps it going. And that's exactly what I mean, folks. You know, once that car gets unstable like that and starts to get into that slide, Kayla Knight finds the 92 machine just out in front. Nowhere to go. She sends Tony Hilbrand spinning onto the grass on the front straight. That's going to bring out the caution here. Lap 142 of 200. Let's take a look at the replay here. Oh, that's a little bit too close. Too close there, SDK. Let's take this back just a teensy bit farther. Wow, that was a weird vocal typo. So I wanna ride on board here actually with Kayla Knight and take this back here. So here we come. Yeah, you can see Hilbrand's getting a little unstable there. Gets up into Kayla Knight's line. Kayla obviously on the gas. She's not expecting Hilbrand's to come up into that line there, and ultimately not going to have anywhere to go, and going to ultimately cause that contact there. And obviously not her fault, not intentional in any way, shape, or form, but man, when a driver starts to get loose on you in front of you, you have two choices, ultimately. I think. You might have more choices, but in this situation, you have two choices. You can either slam on your brakes, and you can risk spinning yourself out and wrecking yourself and putting yourself out of the race. Or two, you can try and find a way around. Which, if neither of those two work, well, that's the result that you have, is what we just saw. Is you're just going to end up colliding in with the driver in front of you, and we're taking, let's see here, top speeds right now are about 130 miles an hour, and where that incident happened was down the back straight. No, excuse me, that was the front straight, excuse me. So we would have been going there, those two drivers would have been going about 120, 110, somewhere in that ballpark when that occurred. It takes an incredible amount of reaction time to react to something like that. It's incredible how fast these things happen, and how quickly your mind works to figure out a solution before things get a lot worse. So with the caution out here on lap 145 of 200, I do believe once we come back to green, it'll be about lap 147 or so. It looks like we have a few drivers that are going to get the wave around here and be put back on the lead lap. Looks like Matthew Fitz, Scott Shire, Howie Briss, Benny Hogan, Nicholas Lavelle, Patrick Colby, Jaden. Nope. Who is that up there? It's the number 12. James Koulibaly, I believe, are all going to get the wave around here, quite possibly. Yep, and there they go. So, as the pace truck comes across the line, the lights are going to go off. The lap drivers are going to get the wave around to get themselves caught back up and back on the lead lap here. And I believe I was right on the money with my estimate of when we were going to go back to green, lap 148. So with just about over a quarter of the way left here in this race, man, really interesting to see how this is going to start here. Aaron Smith, Charles Jurek here out in the front. The green flag is going to fly. Sean Williams, Tony Hilbrand's third and fourth here on this restart. Aaron Smith going to try and get himself a nice gap here on this start. Coming out of turn 2, down the back straight. Sean Williams almost looked like he was a little unsettled there. Keeps it together. Tony Hilbrand's trying to keep up with Kayla Knight as she works her way up here, trying to duke it out with Sean Williams and Charles Jurek for the podium right now. And there she goes down on the inside of the 76 machine, Charles Jurek. Caitlin trying to find her way up into a podium spot here for the day's race. 149 laps that we've completed here. 150 as we cross the line. Jurek on the outside of Tony Hilbrand's going into turn 1. Jurek there having to slow the car down. Goes down to the bottom line. He slows up the number 2 machine. That's Nick Nickerson. Nickerson going to be one of the drivers down. Actually, he's not down a lap. I don't know why that came to my mind, but still, either way, these drivers are all pushing here in this final stage of the race. Kayla Knight down on the inside of Sean Williams. The 18 machine is absolutely moving and grooving here, but it looks like to be coming at a cost. We can see that 18 machine start to wiggle and shake a little bit as she comes out of the turns. So we're going to have to pay attention, really see what happens here for Caitlin, if she's going to be able to keep that car steady here for the remainder of this race. But it definitely looks like she's fighting that 18 machine right now, and that goes for a lot of this field here. We saw it a little bit earlier. Drivers definitely they're definitely boot scooting around here around Richmond Raceway as Tony Hilbrand's down on the inside of Kayla Knight here, up into third place. Tony here, Tony has been having just a very, very interesting race here at Richmond. He has been up and down here in this top 5, top 10, and all over the place, and he's back up here into third place once again. Excuse me. Single file here up in the top 5. You can really add a couple positions to that here as well. Some very impressive work here that these drivers are setting here in the final few stages of the race. Let's take a lap around here with our drone camera. I don't know about you folks at home, but I just love this view. It's just a unique way to see these battles happening here on track. Kayla Knight here, going to be down on the inside of Tony Hilbrand's. Going to see if she can make some room here. Who is that? Nick Nickerson, the 13th place driver, up right behind Aaron Smith right now. I'm not sure if Nickerson here is going to be down. He is down a lap. Okay, so he's trying to work his way back up into the lead. He's going to pass the leader. I love it. I love it. Go, Nick. Go, 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 go. I love this. This is great. So Nick Nickerson, a driver that is down a lap right now, just passed the leader. I love that. That just tickles my heart. I absolutely love that. But what I love more here is the battle for the lead. Sean Williams, Aaron Smith duking it out side by side as they come out of turn 2 and down the back straight. You can see Tony Hilbrand's trying to sneak his way up here into this battle here. The third place driver, Tony Hilbrand's also having to hold off Kayla Knight in the 18 machine. We've seen these two drivers duking it out here for, well, really it's starting to happen here in this final half of the race. I mean, these drivers have seen themselves battling it out with multiple drivers throughout this entirety of the race. So really great thing to see. Richmond has had a lot to offer here for the Richmond 200, and I frankly have been enjoying every single minute of it. I hope everyone at home is enjoying the action here as well. 160 laps that we have completed here out of 200. Man, I am just full of grammatical errors today, but man, look at how close Sean Williams, Aaron Smith are. They are almost practically door to door. There I go again. Lap 161 of 200, and you know, what I want to see here is how long these drivers are going to be able to hold onto this battle here. They might be able to do it all the way until the very end. I mean, all of our drivers came down into the pits lap 143, or at least the majority of them have. So that's really going to, I mean, this is it. This is it. This is the final stint of this race. So these drivers all are going to be giving it the beans here and trying to do everything that they possibly can. And look at Nick Nickerson, man. He is just pulling away from these drivers behind him as if they aren't even there. I still can't get over that. A lap driver just pulling away on the leaders here, as Sean Williams now actually starting to pull away from the drivers just behind him. Tony Hilbrands, Kayla Knight in second and third place respectively. Aaron Smith, Jaden Hopp looking like they're going to be almost duking it out here side by side, as we are still... Wow, look at this. Impressive work here from Aaron Smith, trying to get himself back up here in the front. Aaron Smith, a driver that we have seen leading this race for a good amount of time, and finding himself back down here into sixth place, probably not the best thing that he wants to see here, but still competing as well as he can here. And it was that slip-off that not slip-off, he had a slide going into turn one. I forget who it was that was able to come out on top of it. I believe it was Jaden Hopp, the 81 machine. I knew it would come to me. But Jaden Hopp was able to lead after that, and since then, Aaron Smith really not sure if he's just struggling with that 70 machine. I'm not sure if he's dealing with some tire damage. He very well could have had some damage to that outside of the car. Let's see if we can get another angle here. Oops. Of that 70 machine and see if there's anything obvious that we can tell. You can definitely see there's some damage on the rear end of that number 70 machine. Let's see if there's any on the left side here, or the right side, excuse me. It does not appear. If there is any, I can't see it from that view, but either way, either how, wow, look at this battle here for the lead. Tony Hilbrands, he's back up here in the front. Kayla Knight right on his tail. We're three wide here across the checkered line into turn one. Sean Williams on the outside. Kayla Knight on the inside with Tony Hilbrands right smack dab in the middle of the sandwich. Coming out of turn two, down the back straight. Kayla Knight able to get out in front just barely by inches of the 92 of Tony Hilbrands. Can she keep the pace and keep it moving and grooving as we come across the checkered line here once again? Lap 169 of 200. Nice. Kayla Knight here still trying to, there she goes. Yeah, right in front of Tony Hilbrands. Now she's just got to defend this spot. Keep out in front of the 92, Tony Hilbrands. That's going to be key. Don't let him get any room. Don't let him get that line that he's probably going to be looking for to be able to make that pass here once again. But, man, absolutely impressive to see these battles happening up here in the front of the field. And no one's given up here. No one has given up. Everyone has given it their all and then some. Every single one of these drivers that we're looking on our screen right now has, I think in this final quarter of the race, has just kind of clicked something on in their mind, and it's go time from here. Charles Jurek in the 76 machine right now, side by side with Sean Williams, as Kayla Knight continues to try and work that gap and get as far away from Tony Hilbrands as she possibly can. Tony there almost looking like he got a little unsettled, possibly. I'm not sure if that's what that was, but still keeping it together here Jaden Hopp down on the inside of the 92 of Tony Hilbrand's. Dylan Sprock in the chat. Very exciting race. Amazing skill from the drivers. Yeah, Dylan, it's these drivers, they definitely know what they're doing behind the wheel here, and it's been fantastic racing through and through. Kayla Knight, especially, you know, kind of just lingering out in the midfield, mid-pack, and ultimately working her way up 12 spots here to take the lead. In phenomenal work here for the 18 machine driver. As we come on lap 174 of 200, we are just about to see that 25 laps left to go ticker come across your screen. And man, yeah, like I said, folks, this is it. This is the final stint, if you will, of the race. There's really not any other reason that you'd want to come down into the pits unless you really need fuel, unless you forgot to fill up on fuel, or you forgot tires, or whatever the case may be. I mean, this should be your final run. And yeah, just how we've seen these drivers kind of shake up in the front of the field, it's just been absolutely phenomenal. So Caitlin Height, Jaden Hopp, both 1 and 2 here. Tony Hilbrand's, the driver that we were really, it was seeming like it was going to be Tony Hilbrand's who was going to be leading this race for the most part at the beginning, and then we saw Aaron Smith up in the front, and it's just kind of been up in the air ever since then. You know, Caitlin Height has worked her way up here, and now seems like Caitlin Height's going to be winning the show here tonight. But Jaden Hopp as well, up here into second place, and Tony Hilbrand's falling down into third. So very interesting dynamic that we have going on here in this final stage of the race. Is Aaron Smith, one of the drivers who has led quite a few laps here, grinds the wall a little bit on the front straight. I can only imagine what it's like trying to keep these cars stable here as the lights have come on the track some time ago, and we've been racing under the lights here, and I'm sure that the track probably has cooled off a little bit since that time. I mean, obviously we still have all of our all the drivers making their way around the track, so that's going to be keeping it at a somewhat reasonable temperature, obviously, as we're still driving here. Everyone's looking fairly confident behind the wheel, even despite the trickiness. Oh man, look at this. Let's actually ride on board here with Aaron Smith. Very good work here from Aaron Smith. So he's kind of just trailing here behind Charles Jurek and Sean Williams. But look who's taking the lead from Caitlin Height, Jaden Hopp. One of the drivers that we saw who was out in front on one of the restarts, but was on his significantly older tires, and ultimately had to find himself coming back down into the pits and sacrificing a few spots. But here he is, back up here in the lead with 18 laps left to go. And man, looking at this pace right now that the 81 machine is setting, it's almost hard to say whether or not Caitlin Height and Tony Hilbrand's just behind him are going to be able to track him down and give him a little bit of pressure here in the final stage of the race. Really, 18 laps left to go. I mean, these laps are going to tick by fairly quickly. We're seeing lap times of about just under 23 seconds, and yeah, these laps are going to tick away right before these drivers' very eyes. As Sean Williams, Charles Jurek still duking it out side by side here. The battle for fourth place on our screens right now. Aaron Smith trying to still do what he can to stick with these drivers, and you can kind of almost see him It almost looks like weaving, but to me, it seems like he's just trying to find the best line. And it almost looks like he might be a little indecisive on which one he wants to take here, but here he goes. Stacks it right up behind the 89 to Sean Williams. Man, that's probably so tempting there for Aaron Smith. You know, he is probably looking right at that gap between, here we go, right here. So, oh man, it definitely seemed like he was going to take it 3 wide there. I could sense that he wanted to. I could sense it. Sean, keep it down. No, he sends it spinning across the checkered line with 14 to go. The caution comes out. Oh, Sean, buddy. No, Sean. I'm sure he's not too happy about that one right now. He is going to be upsetty spaghetti about that one. Yeah, just loose, all on his own, and there it is, folks. This is actually a perfect time to talk to give you an example of what it's like trying to recover a spin like this. There you see Sean Williams trying to cranking that wheel all the way to the right, trying to do all that he can to keep that machine from, well, spinning out. And yeah, that momentum from the spin it overcomes it. Any amount of steering and braking, not gonna help. It'll slow your car down faster, sure, but not exactly gonna help you win the race. But a lot of our drivers here are making their way down into the pits here. So here we'll see a good view of the drivers making their way. There you see Jaden Hopp making his way out of the pits. So with 12 laps left to go, once the pace truck comes down into the pits, it'll probably be lap 10. Scratch that. It'll be probably lap 9. Lap 8 or 9 is when we're going to be coming back to green here. So Jaden Hopp going to be first, Tony Hilbrand second, Aaron Smith third, Charles Jurek fourth, Benny Hogan in fifth for this restart here. And man, this Richmond just does not stop throwing curveballs to these drivers, and to the end of this race here. Really, it's just up and down, left and right. I mean, we've had a new leader, it seems like, almost every single restart. And that trend continues on. We got Jaden Hopp actually taking the lead back here once again. He was able to take it from Kayla Knight here while we were under green, and able to get himself back out onto the track here before the pace truck dives down into the pits for hopefully the last time of the race here today. All right, so as the lights are off on the pace car, we can see our field getting stacked back up here and ready to go here on this restart. Out of the 18 drivers that we started here, there are 15 still out on track currently. So only seen a few drivers retire from today's race due to incidents or what have you. But as the pace truck dives down into the pits here for, hopefully, again, the last time for the Richmond 200, it's 8 laps to go as we cross the line. Jaden Hopp still trying to hold on to this lead. Tony Hilbrand's going to be trying to do all that he can to get back up into first place here that we saw him in earlier. Yellow flag is out. Scott Shire. Oh, no. Shire going to be seemingly the only driver. Oh. Okay, so self-spin there. Oh. James Coulibaly gets a little bit of contact from Thomas Sewell in the 77, as looks like they were trying to check up and avoid that contact there with Scott Shire. But Shire here, man, very lucky that the rest of the field was on top of their game and avoiding that number 4 machine. That was quite impressive, if I do say so myself. I mean, there was definitely more than one opportunity there for someone to come into contact there with that number 4 machine. James Coulibaly, an innocent bystander in that situation, also getting involved in a wreck in that situation. But ultimately here, folks, this is going to be, I don't think this will be our first GWC. I mean, I guess you could technically count it as one since we're 6 laps left to go. By the time the pace truck comes down into the pits, it'll probably be 3 laps left to go. So I don't know. I can't imagine that it actually might be our first GWC. Now that I say that, it very well could be. So it seems like here at VRL, when we come to the ovals, that almost seems to be the trend. You know, the final few laps are always the trickiest, but it always leads to some just incredible racing between all of these drivers here. So I'm excited. I hope you all at home are excited and ready to get this race wrapped up here and finally crown a winner here for the Richmond 200. So I was actually wrong. It's not. Well, actually, it still will be 3 laps left to go once we go back to green here. But technically, our pace truck is going to be out a little bit longer than that. But when we do come back to green, it should still be 3 laps left to go, and it will be our very first GWC of the night. And right now the question is, who's going to take home the win? Jaden Hopp? Tony Hilbrands? Aaron Smith? You tell me. Because right now I couldn't guess even if I wanted to. It could be any one of these 3 drivers. And I'm not going to discount Charles Jurek as well. Charles has had a heck of a night here as well. You know, we've had Benny Hogan, who's also done a phenomenal job here. Howie Briss. I mean, all of these drivers have all done a phenomenal job here in this race. But the lights are off on the pace car, and once we come back, you know, here we go. Pace truck is down into the pits. And the green flag is out. 2 laps left to go, so I was... All right. Anyway, 2 laps left to go here. It's the final chance that these drivers have. Oh, no! Charles Jurek. Oh, gosh. Okay. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. Not specifically for these drivers, but, oh, Benny Hogan there would almost look like he was going to make a little bit of contact there. Coming up the wall, Jurek loses grip off the rear end, sends it down onto the bottom line into the 97 of Howie Briss. Howie trying to get himself, oh, man, spins it right back around. Yeah, Howie's not going to be too happy about that one here. But that is going to be our second GWC. Look at Jurek's machine here. Oh, man. As he tries to limp it down into the pits. The front right tire just trying to do everything it can to just... Well, it seems like it's actually just stuck into the chassis, so I don't think it's going to be going anywhere. Pit crew's going to have to definitely use a little bit of elbow grease to get that one unstuck from that position, but... We are going to have another attempt here at the green-white checkered with 3 laps left to go. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier at the beginning, not the beginning, a little bit earlier. This race, man, all over the place, all over the place. It's been up and down. These drivers have found themselves just all over this field here, and I don't think anyone is really, I don't think any of these drivers really came into tonight's race expecting too much from it, as it just seems like, man, you really can't plan for any of these things, and you kind of just have to play it by ear. And right now, Jaden Hopp seems to be the driver that really has the most luck for tonight's race. I mean, I think that's really what a lot of it comes down to, is Jaden Hopp has had a significant amount of luck here for this race. But I could be entirely wrong. You know, we've seen Jaden Hopp perform pretty well here throughout the season, so I wouldn't discount that. Hopp has definitely had, well, let's just say a little bit of skill to utilize here for today's race, and I think it's definitely paid off for that 81 machine. But the lights are off on the pace truck. So once we come into turn 3 and out of 4, we're going to be back to green flag racing here again, hopefully for the final time. So there the pace truck goes, and here we go. The green flag flies. Jaden Hopp trying to get himself a nice jump here on the lead. Tony Hilbrand's there. A little sluggish there on that start. Not exactly certain if that was intentional or not, but Aaron Smith now going to be down on the inside of that 92 machine as we come into turn 3. It's 2 laps left to go. These drivers just got to keep it clean here across the line, bring the white flag out, and everything here is official from then on out. Across the line we go. We got a 3-wide battle here for 5th place. Benny Hogan. Oh, man, that disintegrated quickly as, man, these drivers still continuing to battle. Jaden Hopp still out in front, trying to hold on to this lead. The checkered flag is flying. Aaron Smith in 2nd place. Tony Hilbrand's in 3rd. Across the checkered line, oh, man. A lot of these drivers here very, very close to one another, but I think there wasn't anyone battling exactly neck and neck with each other. But man, some very, very close battles here right towards the end, and some just fantastic racing through and through for all of our drivers here. So let's take a look at our post-race results as Jaden Hopp burns down the field here at Richmond Raceway. Jaden Hopp, obviously the 81 machine, taking home the win. Aaron Smith in the 70 taking home second. Tony Hilbrands in third. Nick Nickerson in fourth. Kayla Knight in fifth. Benny Hogan in sixth. Nicholas Lavelle in seventh. Sean Williams in eighth. Scott Shire in ninth place. And Howie Briss taking home 10th place. So, rounding out our top 10 here tonight, we're going to go ahead and get started with our post-race interviews. The first driver that we are going to have up here today is going to be that of Tony Hilbrands in the 92 machine. Let's go ahead and bring him down here. Tony, sir, do you have a read? Actually, give me 1 second here. We got a little bit of technical difficulty. There we go. Tony, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Tony, I am doing fantastic. I hope that you're doing fairly well here, coming home with a podium. Probably not the way that you wanted to finish the race here today. You were looking very solid here at the beginning of the race. And then we saw you battling there with Aaron Smith for a while, as well as Benny Hogan. I said it multiple times throughout this broadcast tonight, Tony. I mean, this race was just all over the place as far as who was leading, where the battles were. It was just exciting through and through. But Tony, walk me through your night and just tell me exactly what led to taking home third tonight.
Well, I don't know what was going on at the beginning there, but nobody seemed to be able to keep up with me, and I was hoping we'd stay green, but that didn't happen. And then that first really long run, we had like 65 laps or something. I was running up front for the first like half of that at least or whatever, but then I don't know, once I got passed by Aaron, we caught lap traffic and my tires started failing, and then I bounced off the wall twice, so I fell back to fifth. And then I ended up getting like 41 seconds of damage, and it was affecting my car, and I don't know, I was just kind of riding there in the top three the rest of the race, and hoping things fell my way. The last caution that brought that with like 10 to go, I was hoping we would have went green the rest of the way on those last 10 laps. Because I think I would have caught Jaden again. I was actually reeling him in before we started getting those green and white checkers, and then I was just kind of hanging on, trying to get the best I could out of it. I'm glad we got a third though. We should have made up a lot of points tonight, because I think Howie got caught up in one of those last two wrecks, and that should help with the points for us. And it was really good racing in the top five once we all got bunched together those last like 100 or like 50 to 75 laps. It was really good racing. Everybody did a hell of a job tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Tony. I think every single driver here that participated in the Richmond 200 here tonight, phenomenal job through and through. I mean, I know that we talked a little bit about it before we went live here, Tony. Richmond, just a slick track, difficult to work with, and every single driver here just made it look easy. It was just impressive to watch, impressive to call the action. But Tony, speaking of the points, speaking of the championship, you're currently sitting fourth place right now before points are updated for this race. But after this race and going into next week, going to Talladega for the Crimson Tide 250, how are you feeling about Dega, and do you think that giving yourself a little bit of a boost here for the points, given that you've taken home a podium here tonight, do you think next week is gonna be a little bit of the same success here for the 92 machine, or do you think Dega is gonna have some unexpected tricks up its sleeve for us?
Well, as always, it's plate racing, so anything can happen. As long as I'm not like wrecked at any point, I should be up there for the end for the win, because for whatever reason, plate racing just comes to me, and I can make lines work on my own in these cars for whatever reason. And again, as long as we don't get caught up in anything, we should be there battling for the win at the end next week. So it should be either a really good race or a really bad race.
Well, let's hope that it's a good race for everyone, and hopefully we'll see a little bit of similar success for you going into next week, Tony. But before we let you go here and celebrate tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast, or anyone in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you send you off?
Everybody who races and shows up every week. They all race really well. I hope they put on a good show. I think we do on track, at least, whether the fans, people watching, think so or not. I think we do. And then all the people that watch, because we're here to put out a show for you guys. So we thank you for coming out every week, and then you guys for coming up and broadcasting for us.
Absolutely, Tony. Well, thank you again for joining me up here in the booth, and congratulations again on the third place. And hopefully we get to see you again up here once again next week at Dega.
Yep, thanks. Have a good one, Mason.
You too. All right, folks, that is Tony Hilbrands out of the booth in the 92 machine, taking home third place. Up next, second place driver Aaron Smith in the number 70 machine, taking home second place here tonight. Aaron, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, I've got you.
Aaron, what a race it has been for you. You know, we saw you up out in front for a little while. I believe it was after the second or third caution. I can't remember which one exactly. We saw that 70 machine out in front for a while, and just one factor led to another. I mean, we've seen it happen to multiple drivers here tonight, just kind of falling down positions, just all over the place here tonight, Aaron. This race was it was a lot to keep up with here in the booth. But for yourself, Aaron, I mean, you were kind of staying up here in the top 5, top 10 area, and able to take home second place kind of in the final hour, if you will. But the first question that I have for you, Aaron, we had these last 2 cautions come out for that green-white checkered. Do you think that if you had a little bit more time before that happened, that you would see yourself up here maybe even leading or winning the race here tonight?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I mean, Jaden and Tony were strong all race, and they were certainly a pretty big issue for me there throughout the whole event. But I feel like if I had a couple more laps there at the very end, I might have been able to get the Jaden's bumper, but I just came one step too late.
Well, I mean, in either way, Aaron, you worked your way up 10 spots throughout this race here. So starting P12 and finishing second, I mean, that's nothing to shy away at. And I think the 70 machine was looking absolutely impressive here tonight. But going into next week, taking the VRL to Talladega, how are you feeling about Dega? And are you feeling confident going into Talladega?
If I make it next week, if I make it through the entire race next week, I think I'll be able to have a shot at it, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, it's been absolutely phenomenal watching you in the series. You know, it's obviously not very often that we get to see yourself out on track here, but when we do, it's phenomenal seeing that 70 machine just give a lot of these oval track racers a run for their money. But Aaron, before we send you off here and celebrate your second place finish here tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone in the pit crew or watching the broadcast that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
Of course, I'd like to thank all the folks at the Satellite Racing Team for their support, and the folks at the Velocity Racing League for putting this show on, y'all broadcasting, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Talladega next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me here in the booth, Aaron, and I look forward to seeing you at Talladega.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Smith now out of the booth, taking home second place here tonight. Last, but certainly not least, Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine, taking home the win here for today's race for the Richmond 200. Jaden, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, I do.
Jaden, welcome to the booth and taking home a win here for Richmond. Man, this was definitely a very interesting race to watch and to call the action for. Jaden, I mean, you kind of found yourself in the most perfect spot that I think anyone could possibly ask for. I mean, I think the first time that I noticed you were out in front, It was about just before halfway through the race, and I noticed that you were on significantly older tires than the rest of the field, and right after I was done mentioning that, you came right into the pits, and having to work your way through this field and having all these cautions come out, Jaden. What do you think kind of led to your success here? I mean, it's just been kind of a very interesting night. I mean, it just seems like there wasn't any sort of strategy that you could rely on. Jaden, I'll quit rambling. Walk me through your night and tell me what led to your success here tonight.
I think the start of the race was pretty kind of slow, but I felt I had pretty long on speed for the whole race, which kind of led me into getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, excuse me, go ahead.
I kind of thought I was gonna lose it with that caution with 10 to go, because I thought someone was gonna stay out there. Because why not, really?
Yeah, and it's always kind of interesting when you have these cautions come out, kind of right at the point where you are almost thinking about coming into the pits. It was just very ill-timed, these cautions here tonight. But Jaden, very good night for the 81 machine, able to come home with the win. How are you feeling about Talladega next week?
I'd say so. Kind of just gotta avoid the big one, see what happens from there.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it here from the 81, Jaden Hopp. Just avoid the big one and everything will be all right going into Talladega. But before we let you head out here and celebrate your win here tonight, Jaden, is there anyone that you would like to thank or shout out before you go?
Just you for putting on a fantastic broadcast, and Tony for putting on a good week. Absolutely.
Well, Jaden, I want to thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth. It was phenomenal watching you secure this win. I mean, it was absolutely impressive seeing the 81 just take home the win here tonight. It was impressive trying to see Aaron Smith do all that he can to keep up with you there in the end, and Tony Hilbrands as well. But congratulations, Jaden, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Jaden Hopp out of the booth here tonight in the 81 machine, taking home the win for Richmond 200, round number 10 of the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. And that is going to bring the conclusion of our coverage here tonight. Folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and if you liked what you saw here tonight, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. And again, my name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next week for the Crimson Tide 250, same time, same place. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next week.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona's a pit. What is out?